This is KGW News at noon.
Thank you for joining us today. Here are some of your local headlines. Happening this afternoon, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler announcing a new emergency declaration in response to gun violence in the city. A new report released over the weekend showed that from 2019 to 2021, Portland saw a 144% increase in homicides and a 241% increase in non-fatal shootings. The report showed Portland's increase is higher than other cities this size. A grand jury returned a guilty verdict against one of 3 people accused of starting this riot outside a Northeast Portland bar. This happened at the Cider Riot back in 2019. Earlier this week, Joey Gibson, the founder of Patriot Prayer, and another member of that group were acquitted of starting the riot. And tonight, the University of Oregon will remember the life of this young football player who died last week. 22-year-old Spencer Webb played tight end for the Ducks. He was with friends at Triangle Lake in Lane County when he fell and hit his head on the rocks. His memorial service will be at Autzen Stadium at 6 o'clock this evening. You know, the other big talker today is the weather. It has been hot across the country, but Chris, today for those of us west of the Cascades at least, we're seeing a little bit of relief.
We are, yeah. After 2 days in the 90s, Portland gets a little break today, and well, the brief morning cloud cover that we had is already cleared, but it is cooler right now than it was 24 hours ago. In fact, that's what this map shows us. The change in temperature from yesterday at noon. We are 5 degrees cooler right now here in Portland. Check this out. Eugene is 15 degrees cooler right now than at noontime yesterday. That cooling push of marine air has not quite made it over the Cascades and through the entirety of the Columbia River Gorge yet, but it will tonight. And so you folks have one more pretty hot day in your forecast, and then relief comes in tomorrow. Right now we sit at 71 degrees at PDX, and kind of cool to look at this shot from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. Our camera there showing the marine layer and the cloud coverage that's been kind of hugging the Oregon coast. It's 64 right now in Lincoln City, and you can see the cloud cover that has filled in the southern Willamette Valley especially and along the coast. It's been slow to erode, but it probably will at some point this afternoon. Meanwhile, here in town, full sunshine, but cooler temperatures today. I've got us generally in the lower to middle 80s, a good 6-8 degrees cooler than yesterday. We'll be even cooler tomorrow, and that's good, Brenda, because the 7-day forecast is looking real hot. More on that coming up in a few minutes.
It sure is. Thank you, Chris. We're hearing from the family of Carissa and Billy Fretwell after their killer was sentenced to life in prison. Michael Wolff was convicted of killing his 3-year-old son and the boy's mother back in 2019. He was sentenced to life in prison yesterday by a Yamhill County judge. Carissa's family says the sentence closes a chapter, but the loss is profound.
When we had the little guy, we had him quite a bit, and I would just say he ran the house.
Yes, you were. Where'd you get the hat?
He's such a funny boy. I mean, I can say I got 25 years with her. I got 3 years with the little guy. That I wouldn't have had it all if they weren't here. You know, those are things I get to keep. Memories I get to keep. It's the future ones that I don't get to keep.
Shortly before their murders, Carissa had taken Michael Wolff to court to prove he was Billy's father. A paternity test confirmed it, and prosecutors say he was angry that a judge ordered him to pay $900 a month in child support. A new report shows that violent crime is up in the state of Washington and officer staffing is down. That's according to new data from the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs. It tracks crime and arrests from around the state. According to the report, from 2020 to 2021, violent crime was up 12%, murders up 6%, and robberies increased by 10%. At the same time, Washington lost about 500 officers. The per capita rate of officers to state residents is now the lowest since the organization started tracking data back in 1980.
People call 911, they want somebody to show up, and they need to get there relatively quickly. They need to get there with the right resources. Less staffing obviously means that's not going to happen as much.
It's an ongoing struggle in many places right now. The report also showed drug-related arrests and identity thefts dropped significantly. They're down 61% and 80% respectively.